Hi, my name's Christian and my pronouns are they, them, and theirs.
Hi, my name's Tori and my pronouns are she, her, hers.
And I am the Children's Associate. I'm usually working at Portage Cragen Library, but I am visiting with my friend Tori at Albany Park.
Yeah, I'm the teen librarian here at Albany Park Library, and we're in the corner of our U Media space today.
And we wanted to mention, just so nobody worries, we are in a room all by ourselves and we are both fully vaccinated.
Yes,
so that is
are.
why we are able to be together without masks. So today, we are going to do a really cool art with science project that's called Fizzy painting. And you'll see why it's called that in a minute. So it makes some really cool like marbled effect paper like this. You can also do some other effects and we'll show you a couple of those later on in the video.
Yeah, let's get painting.
So here on the table, you will see the materials that we'll be using along with a finished product. So what you will need is white vinegar, which is clear. You will need something to mix the vinegar and food coloring in. We just have these little plastic 1.5 ounce cups. These are plenty big enough, but if all you have is something bigger, that works too. All you need is to just be able to mix it up. You will need food coloring or liquid watercolors would also work. And you will need baking soda. You'll need something rigid. We have a ruler here, but with your grown-ups' permission, you could also use a plastic spatula from your kitchen. And you will need something to drip the vinegar and food coloring mixture. We have these really cool pipettes. If you don't have anything like this, you could use a turkey baster, or you could even just use a small spoon to drip it on. Are you ready to get started?
Well, do they need the watercolor paper or any kind of paper?
So you don't want to use regular paper because the moisture will make it wrinkle pretty badly. We have watercolor paper here. You could also use cardstock. If you don't have anything plain, then you could even use like junk mail or old greeting cards that have a matte finish that aren't glossy. So we have some watercolor paper here. I'll give you a piece.
Oh.
We'll set these aside, we'll set these aside. You will also notice that we have this old mat down here on the table. This is to protect the table from getting stained with the food coloring. You can also at home use a baking sheet or maybe some foil or something else to protect the table from getting stained.
You could even use a garbage bag.
Oh, I didn't think of a garbage bag. That's clever.
Thank you.
So the first thing we're going to do is mix up our colors. So we're gonna set out some cups here and we're going to pour about 1 ounce of vinegar in each one. Here's one. There's 2. Now you can do as many or as few colors as you would like. So we are just preparing 6 cups here. Thank you, Tori.
You are welcome.
And then we're gonna get out our food coloring. And we are going to, you will notice that food coloring usually comes in red, blue, yellow, and green. So we are going to put about 10 drops or so of each color into one of the cups. So we'll make a red cup.
Make a green cup.
Now you don't have to put exactly 10 drops, that's just an estimate. So if you put a little bit fewer or a little bit more, that's okay. The only thing it'll do is affect the strength of the color.
So for instance, if you wanted to do pastels, you could put fewer drops in the vinegar.
You will also notice with the yellow food coloring, it does look a little orange. Don't worry about that. It will appear yellow on your paper.
Shall we do a purple?
Well, I was just going to talk a little bit about that.
Oh, that's right.
So this finished example that I have, I only did this with 3 colors. I did red, yellow, and blue. But you'll notice, like, where's the red and blue mixed, we got some purple. Where the red and yellow mixed, we got some orange. Where the blue and yellow mixed, we got some green. So you could just do the 3 colors like that. You could even do only blue and yellow if you want more of like a monotone to do blue, yellow, and green. The other option is you could mix colors and make we already have a green, right? But you could make an orange and a purple if you would like to. So that's why we have the 2 extra cups. We're gonna go ahead and mix those colors.
Should we do 5 drops of each, you think?
Sure. So here's a purple.
Okay.
We already have a green, so let's do an orange.
Yes.
Let's put them in rainbow order so that we make sure not to get them mixed up.
Yes.
So for those of you who are not familiar with the order of the colors in a rainbow, you can think of the acronym ROY G BIV, which stands for red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet.
And whatever you're using to drip the color onto the paper with, you can use that as a stirring stick. Otherwise, you could also use like a toothpick, a spoon, whatever you have handy that your grown-up says is okay.
Now we have separate ones for each color. If you don't have enough of whatever you're using to drip to have a separate one for each color, then you could also have a glass of water to the side to rinse off whatever you're using in between colors. So we have all of our fun colors ready. So the next thing we're going to do is take some baking soda, and we're just going to sprinkle that, a pretty decent amount of it, onto our paper and just kind of spread it around. You can use your hands to spread it around. You could use your flat edge to kind of distribute it a little more evenly across the paper. Now this doesn't have to be exact. If you don't get some, like on the corners or whatever, that's okay. And you could even experiment with seeing, what does it look like if you have baking soda on part of it but not on another part. And just kind of experiment with the differences that the chemical reaction makes.
I'm going to make these kind of blobular shapes on this side and then rake my fingers on this one to see if we get different shapes.
All right. So now our paper is prepared. It's on top of our protective surface to make sure that we don't stain the table. And now we get to the fun part. So I'm going to drip a little, and I don't know if the sound will come through on the video or not, but we're gonna see.
Hopefully you can hear that fizzing.
So that is a chemical reaction, and you can kind of see the color spreading out through the baking soda, and that's what gives it that really neat marbled effect that we saw on our finished sample. So what makes that chemical reaction happen is that vinegar is very acidic, and baking soda is what's known as a base. You can look up some of the high pH and low pH balance and what that means. So vinegar or acids have a high pH, and baking soda or bases have a very low pH factor. And when they mix, they kind of cancel each other out, and that's what makes that fizzy chemical reaction.
I'm gonna use purple, I think. Or what I hope is purple, we'll see.
If we mixed our colors correctly. It looks like a dark purple. I like
that. It does. I like a little bit of contrast with the bright red. Oh, look at how it's spreading on the edges or the colors diffusing.
Oh yeah.
Very fun.
Ooh, I think I'm gonna go for some red.
I think I'm gonna go for green. Oh, this pipette might be a little defective. Never fear, we have another one.
Yay!
Oh, that was red. Well, now this is red.
All right, sorry about that.
That's okay.
I just saw an empty one and got excited.
I mean, there's lots to be excited about right now.
So I'm going to also show you something else that you can, if you don't have pipettes at home or things to, you know, drip it with. I'm just making a little bit more blue here. And so what you can do is, if you are very slow and careful, you can just kind of very, very slowly trickle it on. And there, it'll be bigger drips, but you still kind of get the same effect with the fizzing.
And if any of you have dyed eggs before, you might recognize this reaction, because a lot of the kits that come with dyes are just vinegar and the base with a little bit of water in there.
I also just thought, if you have a paintbrush at home, doing some like splatter art with it, as long as you are very careful and splatter very close to the page so that you don't splatter it all over and stain things. But the way you would do that is just dip a paintbrush in the color and then very slowly just kind of brush the bristles so that it splatters instead of the bigger drips.
All right, I'm pretty happy with mine.
I think I'm gonna do just a little more red over here.
I love how you can see the bubbles where the baking soda was a little bit thicker.
Yeah, I spread mine a little thinner, so I don't have a lot of those, but yours is really neat. It almost looks like the surface of the moon.
Oh, I like that. It also reminds me of the protomolecule from The Expanse, which is a very abstract thing. It looks like an alien plant thing.
An alien plant thing.
We're
getting very scientific here, yes, at Albany Park Library.
Those are the technical terms. I checked.
All right. So once you have, once you're happy with your design with the drips that are on here, you'll want to let it dry for a little bit so that when you scrape it off, you don't spread the color, throughout. Or if you want some streaks in it, you could go ahead and scrape it off before it's completely dry. You'll still want to let it dry a little bit so that you don't accidentally tear the paper, particularly if you're using anything other than watercolor paper. So we're going to let these dry for a little bit, and we'll be back in a few minutes. So we wanted to give you a couple of books that you could look up some more experiments and do some more, have some more fun with making art with science. And so this book in our children's nonfiction section is called Crazy Concoctions, A Mad Scientist's Guide to Messy Mixtures. It is by Jordan D. Brown, and it has all kinds of fun stuff in it, including slime and goo, totally gross, that's gastastic, crazy colors, incredible and edible, and create your own concoctions. And so I wanted to highlight a couple. This really fun chemical reaction is called Am I Blue? And it says, one moment the solution is clear, and next it's blue. Then like magic, it's clear again. You'll think you're seeing things. There's also in our incredible and edible section, it jiggles, it glows, which is UV reactive jello that is still something you can put on the dinner table. What's that jiggling, glowing thing on the table? Oh, it's dessert. So for more fun, check out Crazy Concoctions. We also have this really awesome book. There's a couple volumes of this. The Smithsonian STEM Lab, Build, Invent, Create, Discover. There are also a ton of really fun subjects in here. Forces in motion, liquids and reactions, shape and structures, and light and sound. These are all experiments that can be done with things that you likely have around your house or things that can easily be gotten, such as this fun acid and base reaction, making a bubble tower out of things like cabbage and baking soda. And I wanted to show you on this page, it does give us a fun pH scale and reminds us that yes, acids are low pH and bases are high pH. So this will be a similar but different exploration to the one we did today.
All right. So for the teens and some of the tweens, I've got a couple of books here, including Recycled Science by Tammy Enns and Jody Wheeler-Toppin. So this one, as you can imagine, deals with recyclables. So lots of household materials. If any of you ever had like stackable chips like Pringles or something, tubes like that. And so there are lots of fun activities in them. One that I really like because I love ice cream is the ice cream maker. So this is somewhat of a chemical reaction, and what's magical about it is you can have ice cream at the end, which to me sounds like a win-win, but if you are lactose intolerant, then there's plenty more in this book that you could definitely try. A lot of it doesn't actually have to do with food, but because this was a chemical reaction, we wanted to highlight it. So there's that book. And then we've also got Life Hacks, which is basically compiled Instructables tutorials. If you've never gone to Instructables.com, I highly, highly recommend it. It's a DIY person's dream, but also a scientist's dream. So this one is by Instructables and Grant Thompson, and we have it here in our collection. And the activity I wanted to share with you today, with a huge disclaimer, do this with an adult. This is specifically for teens, and you should probably do it outside as well because it's pyrotechnic Thanksgiving dessert. And it says mega dangerous. So please be careful. Please make sure there are no small children around who might confuse the fuel for food because it does look like a pie. But if you were hoping for something explosive, you got your wish. So check out these two books and have a good time. Science is fun. And I personally think it's a little bit magical.